So this is the 2100 hours GMT edition being started about 2 minutes after that time, but this is the 2100 hours GMT edition, 2100 hours GMT on Wednesday, the 19th of October 2022. We didn't broadcast any edition on Tuesday, the 18th of October 2022. So this is after 1 day's interval, if you like, or absence on the broadcast. This is the Khoodeelaar television channel, broadcasting under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo at 2100 hours GMT. In the UK, it is BST, 22 hours GMT, British Standard Time. During the day, Wednesday, mainly during the afternoon, especially after the so-called Prime Minister's questions staged in the UK House of Commons, the Guardian, and then shortly after that, the Murdoch scum, began to report that Suella Braverman, Suella Fernandez, that is, had no longer, had left the post as Home Secretary. Well, I noticed this before I noticed this on the BBC News channel, where most of the coverage for the BBC's coverage in the evening, that is after about 4 o'clock, was fronted by Ben Brown. And this is the main thrust. They are saying that Suella Fernandez, they are not saying calling her Fernandez, but they're calling her Braverman. It's a very odd surname to have. Well, obviously it's a Braverman, it's a white man that she married. I mean, that is her natural kind of inclination, is to have a kind of name like that, to replace her own original one, originating in Goa. But Goa itself is not culturally akin to most of the subcontinent. Goa is culturally very much a mixed mess. Whatever is happening in Goa is slightly of less importance than what is happening in the UK, especially after Suella Fernandez was appointed by Liz Truss, to replace Ugly Patel. It was clear, it was very clear indeed, that of the two, quote, Indian origin women, non-Muslim, holders of the post of the UK Home Office, it is very clear that they were being appointed, but there was no real reason why they should have been appointed. And both have turned out to have been disasters. Priti Patel probably will, obviously she will remain on the kind of list of Conservative Party good politicians. Conservative Party politicians, given the kind of posting in the UK Interior Ministry, which is what the Home Office is. And both of them got the postings by Conservative heads of government, let's say. Ugly Patel was first appointed to the cabinet, not Home Office, but to the cabinet by John Cameron. And this latest one, of course, just has become the latest but one, because Suella Braverman has been replaced by Grant Shapps. Now, one thing that must be pointed out, regardless of the race, ethnicity, gender, etc., 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 these appointments or these ministerial postings So, Suella Braverman featured in the news most of the afternoon, but incredibly, well, it's not incredible, but incredible in the objective international kind of sense of the term. I mean, Ben Brown is a vessel, I mean, it's a kind of tool that has no moral or ethical content at all. So there he was, kind of operating a kind of musical chair. All numbers of Fleet Street so-called commentators were given a half a minute kind of opportunity to give a definitive verdict on Braverman's resignation and removal. Braverman, for her part, turned out to be capable of smiling, capable of being coming across as almost affable. Because when the Prime Minister's questions was done, and Beatty was kind of on the ground in a place called the Green, which is the opposite of the House of Parliament. That's where the majority of the television cameras kind of congregate and try to cover the main building. And main building being in the background, and there are guests on the program standing up, stand on the Green. And the first glimpse I had of any proceedings on the Green today was just before 1 o'clock, and I caught the observers. Now they're calling her columnist, but she was the observers. So it was Sonia Soda, now being designed as a columnist, the Guardian columnist, is it? And there was a Financial Times chief political editor or correspondent. talking about the Prime Minister's questions on the exchange between Liz Truss and, in the name of the Labour Party, Goris, in the name of the Labour Party, that is, Keir Starmer. And Starmer, as predicted, behaved in a deadly manner. Well, his physical features resembled the characterization that we have made of him. The Keir Starmer is the political murderer of the Labour Party. I didn't anticipate an interference from a passerby when I was focusing on the broadcast in the beginning, and the camera was on. And this passerby noticed the computer device that I was carrying, and he made a unwarranted and completely stupid remark, whatever the words were. The comments that Sonia Soda made and the Financial Times man made were kind of okay, but then they could not be expected to deliver anything higher than what they did deliver because of their career commitment and their kind of de facto agreement with the Sky News or the BBC, which has got identical broadcasts, not hanging Team GB members aligned. So Team GB members were there, as were their fans. Suella Braverman was sacked by Liz Truss. That is the one version. And the other version is that Suella Braverman resigned. And either the sacking or the resignation or whatever, or neither, should have featured in the communications that followed. Suella Braverman came across as being well. They were playing the file photos or file clips, footage, and there was no sound in what they were playing. The sound was controlled by and taken over by the one person that actually controls the They said that Suella Braverman, in her resignation letter, had admitted that she had made a technical error. And so therefore she was resigning on principle. And she said that when we make mistakes, we should take responsibility for the mistakes, meaning that Liz Truss had made a mistake or series of mistakes in the weeks since becoming incumbent in the post of prime minister. And this is the line that went on in among the commentators. The Twitter account that Suella Braverman was given credit for showing that she stuck to her principle. And they said that that was a dig that Liz Truss could not deny. But Liz Truss, in her acceptance letter, that is to say, reply to Suella Braverman's letter of resignation, she wrote what Ben Brown said, curt reply, much shorter than Braverman's own version. Now, the footage that has been being added to the ones that are already shown, in the next 24 hours, the footage will become completely uncontrollable. Suella Braverman is probably in terms of the intensity of our hatred of migrants, she is the nearest thing that the French far-right racist Marine Le Pen could seek or resemble or could try to make contracts with. Suella Braverman has been replaced by Grant Shapps as the Minister for the Interior. And it is expected that when Shapps begins to show his own version, the Braverman resignation the Braverman resignation as the Interior Minister of the United Kingdom is symbolic. I think by the time the details are digested by Fleet Street anyway, there will be other things taking over. For example, the woman chief whip of the Conservative MPs has also resigned. And they're interpreting that resignation together with the resignation of Suella Benjamin as the two kind of weapons that were available to the leader of the Conservative Party if the party had to move away. This is the thing that they have been saying. They said that the various disagreements between Braverman and Liz Truss were too kind of raw. And throughout the afternoon, there was no real evidence of any intervention by the so-called Labour Party, except that there was a failed attempt by Yvette Cooper to get the Speaker, to get the representative Secretary of State to come to the House of Commons and answer the question that Yvette Cooper had prepared. So this is not, this episode is not going to carry anything by way of the detailed statement and speeches and other acts of narrative. Suella Braverman, as I said, is the nearest thing to the French Marine Le Pen. And despite the oddness, Braverman opposed migrants or higher migration from India. Astonishing. And he was treated as being drunk or effectively incapable of making a decision. What we shall be doing will be to examine all the various implications of these cabinet posts being given to the likes of Suella Braverman, Martine McCutcheon, and anybody else. In due course, we are having to, for logistical reasons, we are going to, this introduction is incomplete, but we are going to end this one at this stage until the next one, which we shall hopefully be able to broadcast on the extended